Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to talk about the use of complaint letters. As you know that complaint letters play very important role in our day-to-day communication. All of us make mistakes because nobody is perfect. All organizations are usually careful while responding to orders or sending goods. But there is always the probability of things going wrong, as the element of human error and natural forces can't be ignored. Since people in an organization work as a team, it becomes a collective responsibility and propriety to own up the faults when complaints pour in. The tendency should not to blame the charge to someone else. Moreover, people keep changing organizations, but organizations can't stop listening to complaints. Organizations often receive complaints of delayed and dilapidated consignments, and at times of wrong goods sent. Such situations arise not because of any ill intention, but because of the huge order or heavy demands to be supplied at a short notice. But as a customer, you have the right to bring complaints to the notice of the organizations. Reliable and reputed organizations take due care of their customers' grievances. No organization would like to lose its valued customers. In fact, most of these organizations have a complaint cell where people are deputed to entertain customers' complaints. If you talk about the causes for complaints, we can say that they can be divided into further categories as we can discuss now. First and foremost is goods found damaged. That compels you to write letter. The other one is supply of substandard quality or defective goods. 3. Order carelessly fulfilled. Next, inordinate delay in supplying goods. Sometimes wrong invoicing can also lead to complaint letter. Poor after sales service. The seller or the supplier has to deal with these complaints very wisely and politely. He or she has to keep the customer happy, having faith in the philosophy that the customer is always right. But at the same time, he or she has to take care that no customer takes undue advantage of his or her sincerity. As soon as we finish the background and causes for complaints, it is equally important to know the purpose of a complaint letter. The purpose of complaint letter can be divided into four heads. One, problem. That means the first and foremost important thing is that your problem should be identified. Two, action. When you write a complaint letter, immediate action should be taken. Then, equally important, write consignment should be sent, and in addition, compensation or adjustment should also be expected. Just try to discuss all these things in detail. It is a fact that you often get infuriated when you receive the wrong packet or a delayed consignment. You may, at times, write an angry letter, but remember that this will not serve your purpose. Instead, if you draft a polite complaint letter, there is always the hope that you will be heard and be sent the right consignment. A claim or complaint letter must, like a sales letter, should be able to persuade, but the approach will be different, as your main aim is to get the worth of what you have paid for. You need to act tactfully, make a clear explanation of the problem, mentioning the make, model, type, price, and all other specification of the product. It is equally important to know the kind of language that you write in a complaint letter. The language used should be polite and the tone should be formal in nature. That means you cannot use the informal form of language while writing a complaint letter. In addition, avoid alleging the organization with charges such as irresponsible behavior and unfair practices, because most of the time we get angry and we write those things in our letter also. So that should be avoided. You should impress on the fact that your claim is genuine. Your aim should be to motivate the reader to take immediate action by referring to the integrity and reputation of the organization or the company. Moreover, you can also state the sort of compensation or adjustment you expect, because these are very important things you should know when you write a complaint letter. Once your purpose is clear, then only we can talk about how to draft a letter, because purpose should be clearly mentioned. Now, there are some guidelines for drafting a complaint letter, and we should follow that. The first one is regret the need to complain in calm and courteous style. 2. State clearly what has gone wrong with the fulfillment of the order. 3. Reference to the order, or sometimes quotations also. Date of arrival of goods, etc. is necessary. That means all these things should be included in the letter. You should also refer to the inconvenience or the loss caused. It could be anything. It could be in terms of money, sales, goodwill, etc. You should also state or suggest what steps can be taken to rectify the situation. Last but not the least is closing. That means close the letter with expression of faith in the supplier's honesty and expectation of prompt and favorable action. You know, a letter of complaint is an indirect approach letter. A customer has every right to complain, but he or she should not be rude. That's why we should be very careful while writing a complaint letter. Moving on to the next important part of a complaint letter is the elements, or we can also say the constituents of a complaint letter, because the elements play very important role in a letter, particularly the complaint letter. There are so many things that we already discussed in the previous classes. I'm just going to give you a sample letter. As you know, the first element is receiver's address. So in the receiver address, you can write the designation of the person followed by the name of the company or the organization with complete address. For example, I'm just giving you one example that will help you to write a letter. The designation is, for example, is the chairman. So you can write the chairman, Sanghi Motors Limited. This is the name of the organization. Place is Mumbai. So in the first line, you write the designation. In the second line, you will write the name of the organization or the company. And in the third line, you will write the place. After this, you will leave one line space. And the next constituent would be date. So you can mention the date whatever you like, depending upon the situation. Then we have salutation. So after date, just leave one line space and write the salutation. For example, if you have used the salutation dear sir, right? So this is the salutation. And after salutation, you should not use comma, because we are talking about full block format. As you know that in full block format, we use open punctuation, that means without comma. After salutation, again leave one line space, and the next element would be subject. Subject, for example, the subject is complaint regarding malfunctioning of Sprint 900. So this is the subject line. Just for the sake of understanding, I'm just giving you one sample letter. You can write whatever you like, there's no problem. Then after this, again you will have to leave one line space, and you will have to divide your letter into 3 paragraphs. The first paragraph will talk about the purpose. The second paragraph, you can give the details or the descriptions or the illustrations. And the third paragraph, you can talk about what do you want from them, right? So I'm just giving you one example. I'm just dictating so that you can write the letter, or you can draft a write letter, right? So in the first paragraph, for example, you can write, This is to bring to your kind notice that last week we bought 10 models of the newly launched Sprint 900 from your company. Unfortunately, almost all the models except two that we have sold have come up with complaints of malfunction. So this is the purpose of the letter. So in the first paragraph, you described the purpose. I'm again telling you the first paragraph so that you can write also. This is to bring to your notice that last week we bought 10 models of the newly launched Sprint 900 from your company. Unfortunately, almost all the models except two that we have sold have come up with complaints of malfunctioning. Moving on to the next part, that will be in the second paragraph. Again, after first paragraph, you will have to leave one line space. And the next paragraph again starts with the margin. So the second paragraph goes like this. The dual fuel engine of the car is not compatible with diesel and other such fuels as expected and assured by you. Moreover, the power steering system usually loses control and fails to respond to a full 360-degree turn. In addition to this, the built-in speaker added as a facility too does not work properly in many models. The service engineers in our workshop also could not identify the reasons behind these. I'm again stating the second paragraph. The dual fuel engine of the car is not compatible with diesel and other such fuels as expected and assured by you. Moreover, the power steering system usually loses control and fails to respond to a full 360-degree turn. In addition to this, the built-in speaker added as a facility too does not work properly in many models. The service engineers in our workshop also could not identify the reasons behind these. Here we finish the second paragraph. Then the next paragraph is again starts with the margin. Consequently, we are returning 8 of these models for servicing to your company, as we have promised our customers to deliver the cars before Christmas. Should we request you to send 8 new Sprint 900 soon? Since you are an old associate, we hope that you will not let us down again. I am repeating the third paragraph. Consequently, we are returning 8 of these models for servicing to your company, as we have promised our customers to deliver the cars before Christmas. Should we request you to send 8 new Sprint 900 soon? Since you are an old associate, we hope that you will not let us down again. So here we are just finishing the third paragraph. The formal close would be the next element, you can write, "We hope to hear from you soon." This will come in the next line, followed by, in the next line, "Since you have started your letter with Dear Sir, so you'll have to end up your letter with yours faithfully." So you will write yours faithfully. After this, you will write the name and the designation. For example, the name is David Brown and he is the Chief Managing Director. So you can write David Brown in parentheses followed by Chief Managing Director. The last element is enclosures. So in enclosures, you can write letter of order and copy of receipt. So this is just the structure of a complaint letter. The language you use in the letter should be formal in nature. And you can use the language the way you want. There is no problem. But the elements, the structure, the format should be as prescribed, or it should be standard in nature. Since this is full block format, that's why all elements would be left aligned. Now we have come to the end of this session. There are certain key points that you should keep in mind when you write a complaint letter. Number one, as nobody is perfect, mistakes may occur in fulfilling orders, invoicing, after sales, service, etc. Two, in the event of any of these things happening, a customer will write a letter of complaint. 3. It is rude or impolite to complain directly. An effective letter of complaint should therefore be an indirect approach letter. Last but not the least is both the customer and the supplier must be clear about the problem and the solution. So that's all for today, and I'm sure I uttered all the sentences. I discussed the structure of a complaint letter in a very lucid manner so that you can write well. Even if you think there's any difficulty, feel free to discuss with me. Thank you.